Alrighty, so today is more of a low stakes video. I just hit the 6 month mark after surgery with the nose yesterday. It's also almost exactly like 6 weeks after the injury. It's like 6 weeks and like 2 days yesterday. I was going to like film this, put it out and everything. But we didn't have internet, so I just want to give you like a window into my headspace this far out after surgery because I've done how many updates um prior to this and even leading up to this, and how many videos that I had out that like I started removing some of them because I know that they were largely rambling videos of like my home life and just like little issues that I had going forward with stuff. Some of these videos would get like one like, and I would do like a 45-minute video, right? So now we have a bit more of an audience. I mean, it's something that I've kind of, talked about a lot, and it's just like I still feel like I should. So, like, obviously, with the injury, I feel like, not the best about my nose situation. But as far as like the surgery goes, like, yeah, the upper brow area looks so much better. I'm super happy with that and everything. The nose, I still feel like it looks better. It looks, it looks good. But like where I injured the bridge, I feel like I can still like see something that wasn't quite there, but maybe it was there and just I still had swelling. I'm not 100% sure. The thing that's really frustrating about this, is that I've been in and out of the ER 3 times since I had this injury. The first time was because of the injury. The second time was because like I bumped myself in the nose again with a pillow, and then I had more swelling, and like so I had this like kind of at home test, which isn't exactly the way to like test anything. And whenever I inhale, my left nostril gets sealed and my right nostril wouldn't, which kind of like to my understanding is like a deviated septum type thing. And that's kind of like what, when I had surgery, they were like, yeah, you have like a deviated septum. And so I don't know if that's like entirely the case or if it could be residual swelling still. It's over 6 weeks out from this injury. And like prior to that, I was breathing pretty good. So there's that. There's like, there's this headspace of like, what's going on? And then I went to the ER again because I was having like what I was thinking was like nasal regurgitation. I kept getting food stuck in my sinus cavity on the left side. And it happened like once that it was like a pumpkin seed. It was literally like such an irritating day. I was already like irritated with the nose a bit. And then I got this pumpkin seed stuck in my sinus cavity, and I heard some like extra popping and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I wasn't sure if I got it out or not, and I didn't want to like be, too aggressive with it. I didn't want to like over saline spray it kind of thing. But like, so yeah, it's just it became this issue of like, okay, is there something still stuck in my nose? Then like I was pretty sure I got it out, but then I ate like a fry the next day, and very first fry that I took a bite of, it's like I ate it, I swallowed, and then whoop, right into my freaking sinus cavity. And I'm trying to tell doctors about this, and they're just like, wait a minute, you how did you get a pumpkin seed in your nose? It's like, no, like a pumpkin seed fragment that when I swallowed it went into my sinus. Like I felt like every time I brought this up to a doctor, they're just like, oh no, like you're sticking pumpkin seeds in your nose? Like, well, don't do that. Like, it's like, right? So, my surgeon wanted me to like potentially see me again, but my insurance doesn't really cover it because it's out of state. So it's been this whole thing of like, let's get into a local ENT. That's what I've been recommended through my ER. That's what my primary care is saying. So like I scheduled for a local ENT. They couldn't get me in until October or November, were like the earliest in my area. Really cool stuff. So like I finally scheduled something yesterday with another ENT. I have to travel a bit, but I'm going to be seen for this on Monday. And so like, yeah, I wish this were a thing that it's just like, we are at the 6 month mark. We're super happy with our results. There's no issues, and we look great and we feel great and we're confident. But that's not entirely the case, right? Um, it's just that it still feels like I'm getting a bit of like breathing issues on the right side. It feels like, I'm noticing this like not whistling but like extra airy sound, and just like whenever you have like sinus stuff like blocked in your sinuses and then like you breathe and it's just kind of sounds like a windiness or like, so like I get that a lot with this nose, like the right nose. I do call it my left nose and my right nose sometimes just because that's what I do. Anyway, yeah, and then like so it's become this thing that it's like I have to like continuously like be in my head about things, right? And so it's like yesterday I wanted it to be like yay, and it is, but it isn't. And like I'm already still in my head about this injury, and so like I'm at the point where I'm like 6 weeks out from this injury. It wasn't like they weren't able to verify. Like the whole thing with it was like they weren't able to verify if it was a fracture or not, because the disc was blank. After I went to the ER and I had them print a disc, and then I went out to see my surgeon and I gave them the disc because they're out of network, and the disc was blank, so they couldn't tell if it was a new fracture or not. When I went to the ER the second time, they're like, "Oh no, that was an old fracture." Are you sure, bud? Because it doesn't feel like it. But like, that's where we're. And then the third time that I went to the ER, they're just like, oh yeah, go to an ENT. Like the second time they were just like, oh yeah, well, we're not like, we don't want to expose you to more radiation. You're just healed. You're healed. You're good. It's like, okay. So I'm still dealing with a lot of discomfort. Any of these like really humid days, right? And so it feels like I almost need to just like gunk and like snap my nose into place, but I can't like snap my nose into place. So that's kind of how that feels, right? And so like I hope like my surgeon didn't overlook anything with as far as like revisionary surgery. Like you have to do that kind of soon after an injury kind of thing. It's been a weird headspace with it, right? So like the whole thing was like if I didn't get injured, I was going to go to this other surgeon. I was going to get a tracheal shave. I was going to get fat injections in my face, and I was going to get a lip lift. I was going to get like this part of my lip cut off and my lip pulled up. So my lips would be, but like I don't know if that's like what I wanted, like it wasn't something that I was like obsessing over for all this time. And so I talked to my other surgeon, like the surgeon that I got surgery with, and they're just like, yeah, you're at risk for like drooling if you have like a lip lift. You don't really need the fat injections. And then she's also just like, and I don't even really see your trach, but like the other issue with that is like online bullying. It makes it a lot easier for like Omegle stuff because like, and that's the other thing too, is like I was filming Omegle stuff 2 days ago, and you can just hear like as I'm talking and stuff that like you can pick up like these pops that I get out of my nose. So it's enough to disrupt like what I'm even trying to do, and then that puts me in like a funky headspace, right? Yeah, it's a whole thing, right? I just hope that like in 4 more weeks, I'm not gonna have like all this like discomfort. I didn't have any of this discomfort like prior to like after surgery. I didn't feel like I had like a lot of discomfort. The only thing that I remember being like uncomfortable were like the stents. After the stents were out, like yeah, it, like was swollen shut. I couldn't breathe super great again for a while, but like it was that, and anytime that I had to sneeze. Now after the injury, I wasn't able to sneeze for like 4 weeks. After the injury, I went to like eat an apple, and like for 5 days or so, like I couldn't actually like eat anything like too big, and it was just like really uncomfortable to chew or eat again. And I was like, okay, well, this is really similar to like right after surgery. It's like, Jesus, I didn't think that was like that big of a, but maybe I have a bigger setback than I thought on my recovery time. Typical nose healing, right? Would show that like, after like 9 months to a year is kind of typically where like your more final result kind of thing is like more determinable than like a 6-month mark. And then we also have the injury, so it's hard to really say for sure. So like as far as, and I'm super self-conscious about my neck, like so like, but like when I do my head up, I do feel like the bridge over here maybe is like a little bit more to the right. But also like it's so like if that were the case, if there was a shift, maybe that's why like the left side, like, so the other thing that like my at home test, which isn't really like a real thing, but like at the same time, it's like after surgery, I was able to like get my nose to close entirely if I like inhaled hard kind of thing. At this point, it's this one doesn't close, but like this one will. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to keep doing it, but like, wait. Anyway, yeah, like, so like I can get this one to close, but like this one still doesn't close. And I was thinking like, okay, maybe if there's internal swelling, that would make a little bit of sense, but it's been so long. It just feels like maybe that's not what it is. Um, Thankfully, like the food issue and like food getting stuck in the sinuses hasn't been like an ongoing issue, right? But like at the same time, it's just like I'm still very much in my head of like, is my surgery like ruined? Like I still have to wait to get to the CNT. It's still just gonna be this thing, right? Um, but not only that, it's just like yesterday, the internet went out, and I don't want to sound like an entirely crazy person, but like, have you ever like worried that like when your internet went out that you're on some sort of list on with the government that like, I feel like I'm an insane person saying this, but because of the NSPM7 stuff, I'm like, well, if they really wanted to, they probably could like turn off cell service and the internet at my location because I didn't have cell service, emergency calls only. But also our home internet was gone. The company said it would be repaired by 2:51 p.m. 3:30 comes around, it's not repaired, right? But not only that, I wasn't able to access the internet on my phone either. So it was just this weird like blackout moment. It was just things after things here in Pennsylvania. It was the wildfire smoke, it's the food, the parasites, it's the everything. It's the heat, it's the so it's just like, okay, well, I do know that like, it's not going to be good if the internet's down, and it's just like, is this because of like, my turning point video or like I said, like just being in my head like that a little bit. And so yeah, it's I'm fighting a lot of I don't know if I want to say depression, but I'm fighting a lot of like upset about it because like the whole thing with the nose was just that I'm just like I bought and waited so hard and this meant so much to me, and then I feel like I ruined it, I feel like I don't deserve nice things because I destroy everything that I ever wanted. Like that's how I kind of feel if there's something wrong with the nose. If I'm going to have like ongoing pain, and you have no idea like how it feels to like be in a weird timeline where your government wants you, certain things going on, and then also like how insurance coverage, like am I going to have this care in the future that if I did need a revisionary, am I going to have a place to stay? Do I have like the finances to make this happen? Like the actual like realistic scenario of like looking at things, right? It's I wish it was just it's done. Things are good. I don't want revisionary surgery that's gonna make my nose look different or so it's like I, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like it could be something as simple as like I go to the ENT, they say something along the lines of like, "Hey, it's scar tissue or like still like swelling," or like if they can notice some difference with like the scopes, they have to really kind of get into my nose with those. I read that they could potentially cause bleeding and swelling issues for a couple days to like weeks, depending on so um, yeah, it's a lot of just still being in my head. It's a lot of being uncomfortable. It's a lot of like second guessing, like, oh, did I get that clip because my nose popped? It's a lot of waking up in the morning and oh, my nose popped, and then starting your day off like that instead of like, you know. So yeah, I mean, I wish it were more how I was hoping and expected and how it was going. Because, like I said, when I stopped hormones and started hormones again, and just how I felt like I lost my confidence, how I felt like I lost how I looked and felt, that feeling kind of went away. There was a window there that I had my confidence back, and it just feels like since the injury, I'm too much in my head second guessing everything that I don't have it again. As much in public. I mean, I still, try to give off certain, but I still feel like there could be room for improvement. There still could be, this still could potentially maybe go away all on its own, right? I do know after surgery, I had more issues leading up to like the 3 month mark, 3 month ish mark, then things really kind of got a lot easier. So I'm just hoping that maybe there's just more swelling on one side and like this is gonna go away. Um, but it's not great to be in like such a level of uncertainty, and Um, and then as far as like surgeries go and stuff, it's like I just want the trach shave. That's literally the only other thing I want. I've talked about this with like other girls that had like the double jaw surgery, the lip lift and the just everything else, and it's just like I still just kind of only wanted the trach shave, but like I could have gotten scheduled for the trach shave literally like the day before I got injured, or maybe it was like 2 days after. Yeah, it was like 2 days after or something. I forget the timeline exactly, but I could have got scheduled in like super early and gotten all those procedures done. And I'm glad that I didn't just rush in and get like the fat injections. They have to do like liposuction in your stomach a little bit to get like, and then like inject fat in your face, and you keep about 50% of the volume. I don't know what that would do for my face. I don't know if it would actually be like beneficial under the eyes. Like I almost thought like over here might be, but I don't, I don't want to have like these big puffy cheeks. I don't want to have like, and I don't want to stray too far away from like feeling comfortable and confident as myself kind of thing. I don't want to do too many things like, just to appease others, right? I want to do things that I wanted, just that like, make my life more comfortable, that I know is going to like, you know, be good for me, right? So yeah, so as far as like the tracheal shave, I'm a little bit worried about scheduling it. I'm a little bit worried about like, how that could potentially go in the future if it's not going to be covered or whatever. So it's like I either need to like do it now or like never is almost how I feel, because I just don't know if it's going to be something that's covered in the future. Um and then like the recovery on that, I read that, oh, it can feel like you're like suffocating, and like, okay, so great. If I do this and I have like 2 weeks that it feels like I can't like breathe or swallow or whatever, and like maybe I can't use my mouth as good, then I need to be able to breathe out of my nose, right? So I just don't know what to do, right? So like I think like the first thing to do is to go to the ENT, talk to the ENT, see what they say. As far as like the tracheal shave, it was like a potentially 2 month out thing. So like if it looks like, oh yeah, things will be a little bit better or something in the future, then maybe I'll just schedule it and do it or whatever. I still have a place to like recover. I still have people that are willing to like help me recover, right? For now. And everything can change in like the blink of an eye, right? So I just I'm in a weird headspace with it, right? I'm still happy that I got the surgery done, but I also just like going forward with things. It's just like, do I actually deserve nice things, or do I just destroy everything that means anything to me unintentionally? Um, and maybe I'm just like being a little bit hard on myself with it, but it meant so much. So yeah, 6 month update, will obviously do a year update with this, and I'm sure I'll talk about other things more in the future with this. But as far as like the nose, that's how it goes. So until the next one. And I do want to cover more news related stuff. It's just been a little bit hard without internet lately. I did get my storage installed and all that. So yeah, moving forward we'll be able to make some more stuff hopefully, and try to keep the popping off the mic. Anyways,